Hello, my name is Emily Missler. I'm going to be showing you the tool Evernote, which is a note-taking application. Evernote is a program with free and paid components. Today we will be exploring some of the capabilities of the free version. After downloading the Evernote Clipper to your web browser, you can use Evernote to clip websites. You can choose how you clip them. You can take a screenshot, which I like because then you can annotate on the article. So you select what you would like to be clipped for your Evernote, and then you can add things to it. You can highlight it. You can choose what color you highlight. You can also add other things. So I'm going to show you an example of highlighting. I'm going to highlight something that I think is important, and you can do this with either a touch screen or you could do this with a desktop or a laptop, which is what I'm currently using. You can also create notes if you have questions or have an exclamation point or something that really stuck out to you, and you can actually add the question to it. So you can go back and revisit that in your notes later on. You can also choose different things like the heart if your kid had a connection or if you had a connection. You can make arrows if you'd like to point something out, especially if there's a lot of pictures. You can also create boxes, so if you'd like to create like a text box or something important for you or your students if they're using it to go back and revisit, you can add text as well. So I'm going to add a question that I have about what I am reading that I would like to remember to respond to later. So you can type that, and it's going to be in green because that's the color I've chosen originally. You can go back and change that at any time, which for your students, they might color code things, you might color code things, or not, depending on how you do things. So you'll save it, and then it will sync it to your notes. Now I'm on the Evernote website, and this is the article that I just clipped. So I'm going to change the title of it. So the page in my notes, I can associate that with what I'm actually doing. Everything copied over. It copies basically as an image. So I can add text to it. I can respond to it. I can take other notes that I've gotten from my book, from other websites, from things like that, what I've highlighted, and the annotations that I've made on the clipping still appear. So I can still use those, and I can revisit them as necessary throughout the course of my studies, throughout the course of, if you're doing it for a class, obviously it would have different connotation than if a student's doing it. And here's another example of the arrow. Here's a heart and different highlighting things that you can do. Here's where I clipped an entire article, so not just a screenshot. And here's another website where I clipped the entire article so that I could have the links, so that I could use those later on. You can also do timelines. And you can create an alert, and you can check those off as you're doing that. Here's another example of a clipping that I've included. So you have different ways that you can do that. You have different ways that you can order it. You can set the reminders to your email, things like that, so that you can stay on top of things. Each page in your notebook can have an alert to remind you to do it, which is pretty cool, especially with project-based learning or place-based learning, so your students can stay on track, so they can collaborate and things like that. You can also share your pages. So if your students all have a Gmail account like mine do, they can share that with each other so that they can edit or so that they can view, so they can collaborate on those same pages. If your students don't have email addresses or a Gmail address, this might be a tool more for you to use, because you can only access it on 2 devices with unique emails. I think that this is a really great tool for teachers and students alike. They can organize their things in notebooks. It's great for project-based learning, and it's a really neat tool to access in your classroom.